All right, we're live. Tap in Birdie Memorial with my good friend Steve Schirmer. Steve, how are you? How are you doing with the new guest on the pod? Has yours been sufficient enough?
He's been very good. We're still determining if this is going to be a Wally Pip situation with
Okay.
him. He filled in very admirably last night. I thought the banter back and forth was pretty good. We'll see. I think Boston Capper, while he's out, is probably, there's a list of things he's going to have to change before he can come back.
Yeah.
Mostly with his stress level when discussing Rory McIlroy or any English golfers, because that can spike his blood pressure levels.
Or like Fitz at the US Open. That's a big trigger for him.
Yeah, or anything that relates to like a guy has some sort of golf course correlation, come up with the US Open. I think a lot of people are going to talk about Max Homa's course record at LACC.
Yeah.
That's going to drive him up the wall if Max Homa ends up winning because of that, and then it will be so obvious. But yeah, like he's got to keep that under control before we can maybe allow him to come back on the mic.
Well, we're very glad that our dear friend Boston Capper is okay and that he survived and he's all good, and we all wish he could come back as soon as possible and start potting again. But until then, Matt is a great co-host. He knows his stuff. I don't know if there's anyone that puts more time and effort and deliberation into their betting cards than our friend Matt. He's always going back and forth. He's always waiting till the last hour. So he puts a lot of effort into this.
Yeah, I mean, it shows with all the content he puts out for us. He's got a lot of really good ideas. It was a nice transition when we eliminated a lot of our editorial content over in SGPN. He was very seamless going to video, taking all his columns and putting it there. Very hard worker. As you know, being part of the company, you got to be a very hard worker. I have a lot of demands, a lot of high expectations. He's definitely been meeting them. So I can't think of a better guy to fill the co-host seat.
Yeah, shout out Matt. We're playing a nice golf match on Sunday. Mm-hmm. He's coming back to the East Coast. Some other golf friends will be in attendance. So I'm looking forward to beating him in golf this weekend. That will be fun. That will be enjoyable. I'm looking forward to that. Colonial last week, Emiliano Grillo wins for the first time in 8 years. Kind of a long shot that other than the fact that he never wins, like totally checked out, totally made sense. Great bet by all that were on him. Did you have any FOMO? Did you want to bet Grillo? Like, what was your temperature on Grillo last week?
Well, so here's the thing. As being part of the content machine, you got to have your betting card out Monday, Tuesday. So I've actually started to do a new show on Wednesday night that is basically just, all right, let's clear the board. Let's pretend I didn't make a bet. And what would I bet on Wednesday night? And some of the guys that I bet at the beginning of the week were at numbers I didn't really like. So I'm like, okay, why don't we look down the card? And one of those guys that I mentioned was Emiliano Grillo. And I talked about him. So of course, listen, if you watch that video, you would have probably said, okay, maybe that's a good idea to bet Grillo at 70 to 1, 65 to 1 at this point. But I did not personally have on my card. So listen, at the end of the day, it's about giving good advice.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully making good picks and following your own advice. I mean, that's the second consecutive week of kind of been hovering around the winner, and I didn't end up getting there. So, let's try and change that this week.
Yeah, that's why I kind of it has not been successful this year, but I kind of like to, if I like a guy and I think I'm going to bet him, I bet him. Like, I don't try and go back and forth because then you're in those kind of situations where you have, okay, I'm going to bet this card, I'm going to bet these guys. Oh, well, I read some things and I could go back on it. And that's the worst feeling when you go into a golf tournament and you're watching it and you see guys that are playing well and you say to yourself, I really don't want them to win because I should have been on them. So I'm sorry, Steve, that the past 2 weeks, I just looked up your name on Google. I wanted to make sure it was spelled right. PGA Championship preview, cover photo, Brooks Koepka. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you just gotta
hour and 40-minute video on Oak Hill where I came to the conclusion that Brooks Koepka was going to win. And then my co-host drank a couple gin tonics and yelled at me for it. I'm like, all right, well, maybe not the hour. Maybe I'll just do top 20, top 10, keep it safe. I've seen him choke. Yeah.
That was a mistake. You just whatever you feel in the beginning of the week, just go in and grab it. Were you watching on Sunday?
The Colonial this Sunday.
Yeah.
It's at the time of the year where the weather starts getting really nice in Rochester. I mean, like you were just up here, and really the nice weather only lasts for about 4 months here. So you got to get your yard work done. I got another kid coming in a month. There's stuff I had to do with that. So I did catch a little bit of the ending before. I actually met some friends out on Sunday night. It looked like Grillo was just going to wrap it up, so I turned it off, and then lo and behold, I'm like, oh well, he almost choked it at the end.
He tried to.
Mm-hmm.
It was very DP World Tour-esque that final day. But yeah, I mean, Harry Hall was at -12 after 2 holes, and he didn't get into a playoff at -8. Feel for him. But again, it just kind of shows like a lot of these times when these rookies, guys who's never been in contention before, get this lead and try and go up, that it's very hard for them to actually pull through and win unless you kind of back into one like Taylor Moore did at the Valspar. Like a lot of times, if it's your first time in contention, you're not going to win. But Grillo's been like percolating for a while. Like it wasn't like out of nowhere at all. I remember I bet him a few times in the swing season, so I could victory lap that one. I vividly remember him. He was in contention at the Sanderson Farms, and then he made a triple bogey and like fist pumped and like walked in a triple bogey putt. But he played well in the swing. He had he top 5 to Mexico and an RBC, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's like, I don't even think it was a situation where like he burned people at the PGA Championship. Like no one was like, oh, Grillo's like gonna win the PGA. Like that wasn't really an issue there. And then he goes to a good course fit and goes out and wins. So congratulations to the Grillo backers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like one of the big things he's been really improved upon is, we always think, I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years now, and it just seems like he was always that team, no putt guy.
Yeah.
And they were talking about that on the broadcast that he switched, his putter grips and everything like that. And it's actually helped a lot. And that's why he's been so successful, over the last like 5 or 6 tournaments where that's turned around for him. And, I mean, like as far as, he's really popular, I think at DFS for the PGA. If that was where you used him, that might have jilted you, but otherwise, though, I mean, we just saw Wyndham Clark, in Mexico kind of burn people then the following week. And now it's Grillo. And now we're kind of on a little bit of a run where, it's not necessarily just top of the board anymore. You got your Wyndham Clark, you got your Grillo. Is that going to happen this week? We'll see.
Brooks Koepka had a pretty good number. So I don't think it's fair to say like, oh, just like the top of the board is like just been winning every week. Like I don't think that's really been the case. There's been a lot of winners that you could have been on. I wasn't on them for sure, but it's tough out here. It's tough out here in the streets, trying to pick golf outright winners. It's very random, but it's for fun. We try our best. We're betting money we can afford to lose. Got my bookie texting me every week, where's this money? Where's that? It's coming, dude. Okay. It's coming. I got some money coming in. Like, just wait. Like, we'll be okay. No, I'm just kidding. We're in good standing with our local bookies. I don't want anyone to be concerned.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I mean, it's always good to bet responsibly.
Of course.
It's kind of why we're here.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, never really good to be in with the bookies.
No.
The ones that send their goons. That's why if you live in a legal state, use it. So then you have to really deal with it, because at that point, just once the cash is zero, then that's it. Just reload. And other than maybe racking up a credit card interest, if you're paying that way, that's the only way
and then DP World Tour. I mean, I bet 2 guys. One of them was Campillo, shoots -9 day 1, and it's like, all right, like this is okay. Like I could use this money, close it out. You just won, and then just like Friday played fine, shot like -1, like was chilling. Saturday, 2 birdies early, like he's at -12. He's like 3 clear, triple bogey on a par 3, hits it in the water, like missed a short putt, makes a couple more birdies. I'm like, okay, like he's fine, like we're good. Makes another triple bogey on another par 3. So that was just killer. I don't know what I did to piss off the gambling gods, but it's whatever, man. It's gonna be okay. I think this is the week we hit a winner. We're not on any of the same guys, but like hopefully I could hit a bet this week.
That'll be good. I mean, we're probably on the same guy as far as positionals, but
yeah, I'm not betting too many positionals this week.
Okay. Well, right. Well, I mean, guys, I bet.
Yes.
I mean, that's usually how I structure my card. Like, I definitely bet a lot of positionals to kind of listen. I'm not looking to hit a home run with the outright. It's kind of just all right. This is fun. Like, it's hard to hit a bet that has a 1.2% probability every single week. But positionals definitely is something I look to at least make my outright back, make a little bit more out of it. That's really how I make my money. And if I'm got an outright sweat, it is what it is. I mean, I think I've hit 4 this year, but I've been a little bit on a cold streak. Haven't really been close at all lately, other than Xander choking to Wyndham Clark at Quail Hollow.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, but I have a pretty good sense of how this is going to go this week. There's a lot of things I like about this tournament as far as, predictive skill sets versus what actually happens in the tournament. And I like the guys I bet this week. So we'll see what happens.
So Jack's Place, Memorial, Mirabelle Village. I think this is like, I don't, in my opinion, it's not as like straightforward as to like what exactly, it's not like a Tory or like, I don't know. It's not as straightforward as to you need these exact perfect skill set to win here. You might disagree. But overall thoughts on this course. What do you need to play well here? What's the through line with the winners at Mirfield Village?
Well, I mean, if you look at some of the comp courses, I use Data Golf a lot. They have a nice list. Then it's very comparable to what you see kind of in the Southeast in Florida. Like it values not necessarily driving distance. I mean, that helps in every tournament, but got to be pretty accurate, good ball striker, good around the green. It's similar to places like Innisbrook and TBC Sawgrass and Sedgefield. Like you kind of see some of those types of guys have this leaderboard. So it's basically kind of like a Florida-ish golf course set in the Midwest here. And what I like about this tournament is, the predictive skill set that Data Golf puts out. It basically says, okay, there's a high correlation of guys who are fairly accurate off the tee, lower emphasis on distance, high correlation of guys who are pretty good with their irons, high correlation of guys who are pretty good around the green. But then when you actually translate to how guys actually gain strokes in the tournament, it's heavily influenced by iron play and around the green. That's really how you separate yourself. So at that point, it makes it pretty easy to say, okay, I want to look at these core skill sets with your iron play and around the green play coming in. If you show up with your A game, you're going to do pretty well. And if you don't, then you're not really going to do all that good. And if you see some guys who have some weaknesses, then they have to either rise way above that to overcome it, or they're not going to do as well. So, I kind of like seeing a tournament like that. Sometimes you go to tournaments where the predictive skill set is like, around the green play, but it doesn't contribute a whole lot to your total score. It's hard to separate yourself there. So I kind of like the profile players that I picked this week. I also think too, that just based on the weather conditions kind of up here and in Ohio, I think it's going to play really firm. I know the golf course is really lush right now because the grass is still growing a lot. It's not been quite as hot, so it hasn't been burning off. But I kind of figure it's going to be like that 2020 Memorial a little bit. That was just super firm. They were letting the golf course kind of go to hell before it. But I think the fairway is going to roll out pretty this week. I think the greens are going to be really hard to hold. I think this might be kind of an up and down contest. I was kind of thinking of some guys who have been pretty good in some of these really firm conditions. And maybe that can translate to this golf course. That kind of drove a lot of my bets this week.
Yeah, I think, like, again, you don't have to be the longest person in the world off the tee. Always have to be a great iron player. Around the green game, got to be important. And I think we've seen maybe some poor putters kind of do well here, even with the firmness and the quickness of the greens. I heard Andy was talking about his podcast about how a lot of putts are made within side 10 feet. So that could be something you could look at with maybe guys that are struggling with the flat stick a little bit. But let's get into the odds board. Let's get into these golfers. We got, kind of Rahm and Scotty below 10-1. Rahm at 7.5 and Scotty at 6. Who is your choice between the two of these guys? You could pick one, only one can win. You can only play one. Who do you prefer this week at this tournament?
I mean, isn't Scotty basically like the boilerplate template of like what you're looking for in Middle Village? You just talked about guys who, yeah, you don't have to be the best putter to do well here, and that's definitely the weak spot in this game. But otherwise, though, excellent with the irons, excellent from over 175, scores really well from that area too. Really good around the green as well. We've seen him do well at the Memorial.
And he's putted well here.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like I think when he comes to these greens are really undulated, really fast. Sometimes that can shrink the gap between, like an above average putter and a really poor one, because sometimes you're putting a little defensively at that point. Sometimes you're just maybe, and maybe have trouble getting the ball to the hole. If it's running a little faster, you can actually get that there. That's why maybe a Hideki does really well here, in like an Augusta National or a Morikawa. They do, they're pretty good at both places. So, I mean, he seems like he checks all the boxes of what you're looking for as far as how you gain a lot of strokes at this golf course, what is needed. And as far as Rahm goes, I mean, he definitely can check a lot of those too. I mean, I think just a little nit with him is that
two-time winner of this event.
Yeah, and around the green.
Do you give him the 2021 victory? Is that his?
I mean, it just in my memory. I give it to him.
Yeah, I watched that third round highlights. That was pretty awesome. Honestly.
It was.
That was it. And hole in one like the day before. Like he shot a 62 and he didn't even make a hole in one that day. Maybe it was 63. I'm not sure, but it was like close. Like I kind of my memory from that tournament is like Ron just like ran away with it. Like when it started Saturday, him, Colin, and Cantley were all at like the same score, and then he just absolutely blitz the field that day. That was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, so he was like up by, I think, 7 or 8, and then they got the tap on the shoulder saying, "Hey, sir, you got a virus, so get off this golf course there." And then, I mean, that actually produced a really good Sunday. I had a ticket on Scheffler, I think, that day, and I was like, he was kind of keeping up, and just fell a little short. But I mean, I was tempted to single bullet Scheffler. I'm never I'm never a single bullet guy.
Okay.
Ultimately, I just decided, why don't I pick 4 losers down the card?
Yeah, I really like that strategy too,
and we'll go with that.
Yeah, I know some people that are that don't usually do single bullets, that are sing bullying Scotty this week. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to go over the ball striking stats. He's hitting the ball great, and he's putted well here. He's like gained putting every single time he's played here, and if he could putt, he could win. He's due for another win. So I think Scotty is the choice of the two there. I bet Patrick Cantley at 11-1. This is maybe the shortest odds I've kind of ventured to all year. Definitely don't, get a lot of enjoyment out of betting, $300 on one golfer when it's obviously, as we talked about, extremely hard to win golf tournaments and extremely hard to pick the correct golfer that's going to win. So that didn't feel great, but I think it's just a sense of the guy is going to win soon. He's been playing too well to not catch a victory, and he's going to a place that he's won once and had a runner-up the second time. I won't give him that win, but he still did, lift the trophy on Sunday. T3 last year at this tournament, 4th the year before he won. This is just a Cantley spot. And, everyone wants to talk about Scotty's ball striking, and it's a lot better, but Cantley has truly been unbelievable this whole season off the tee and on approach. And, he putts well here. This is a place he putts well at, and that's kind of what has been holding him back. I don't like the number, but I think Cantley's going to win, so I'm just going to bet him a 10-1. And also I don't really like a lot of guys in the 20s, so whatever. I'm betting PC at 10-1 this week, and I feel pretty good about it, to be honest. I know he'll be there at least.
I mean, why wouldn't you feel good about Cantley? I mean, considering his track record here, the 3rd place, last year, does a lot of the same things that Scotty does. Hits a lot of fairways, good iron player, putts well on bent grass. I mean,
non-major bent grass.
Yeah, we had that conversation at Oak Hill, and you kind of scoffed at it, and then he kind of didn't really do all that great in the greens. It's funny though, because these are really like, they're fast, they're undulating greens. You would think that, like, I mean, Jack kind of built this place to resemble kind of like Augusta National greens conditions, and he's awesome here, but he can't figure out the greens at Augusta or apparently at Oak Hill either. So I don't know. It's kind of strange. I mean, listen, like, I love my agronomy stats. I can't even figure out why, when it comes to these major championship greens, Will Zalatoris is an infinitely better putter than he is apparently at this place. So, I mean, look, for me, 11-1, I didn't really want to bet that number. Cantlay appears on my betting card in some form. I feel like you have to include like a Scheffler, Cantlay, or Schauffele, just like somewhere on your card, at least if you're not going to bet them outright, like positional, like. They have such high floors at this place where you have to at least do something with it. So, I mean, Cantley's a fine pick. He's going to be my one and done pick because I still had him this week. So I figure I might as well use it.
How are you in the fantasy golf championship one and done?
Yeah, so I was up to 70th at one point.
Wow.
And then
so you have a good year.
And then I've had, so I got Scotty at Phoenix. I got Fitzpatrick at Heritage, which is pretty good. I've been slumping last couple of weeks, which is kind of matching
in the money.
Yeah, I think I'm in 250th or so.
And you just have one entry.
Yeah, I just have the one single entry there. So I mean, I'm still doing good. I'm like 2.4 million clear of like money. So I'm not worried about that.
All right, well, you'll be good this week because Cantley's getting you 3.3 mil or 3.2 mil. Yeah, I've had a pretty rough. Not a I'm like middle. I'm like a little bit above. I'm like closer to the money. I'm like above halfway. But the only winner I've hit all year is Brooks at the PGA. That was the only one I've hit, and not even a lot of like good like second places really. So it's been a tough year, and I don't really have a lot of guys left. The only elites I have left are Hovland and Xander, and I'm going to use them at I'm going to use Xander at the U.S. Open and Hovland at the Open and just kind of figure out the rest. But I didn't really get good use out of Rahm and Scotty, which was kind of tough to do this year. And then at a certain point, I was using my one and done to like mush people. And then I hit Brooks and I'm like, well, like I can't really do that anymore. So like I don't want to use guys on my betting card. And one and done because that's just bad. That's just bad juju. But the first guy you're betting on your card, a very popular selection this week, but you bet him before that, and you're not even on Twitter, so like it doesn't count. But it's Hovland's first big dick win this week. This is the first time he gets it done in the continental United States.
What, I mean, we're not counting the BMW International Open over in Germany or the Abu Dhabi HSBC at Yachts Golf Links, which actually was kind of a good win. But people don't really want to talk about that. No. So I guess it comes down to the fact that ball striking, I have no concerns over Hovland here. I mean, Jack loves to hit a fade off the tee. Hovland loves to hit fades here. Guys who tend to hit fades do really well here. Hello, John Rahm. Hello, Kawa Morikawa. The long iron play is great. His putter has been very good lately. He's a good bent grass putter too. In the Memorial, though, it has not worked out for him. He has that third place finish at the Workday Charity Open, but that was a diet Memorial. And really the problem, and it's just going to come down to this, is what we saw at the PGA around the green. Is that legit? Because that was a truly impressive performance. And honestly, I feel like if he can get up and down from off the green at Oak Hill with, some thick, rough, pretty tricky bunkers too, which is kind of what we're seeing at Muirfield Village, some undulating, fast bent grass greens there. I feel like he can do it this place, but it's just a matter of, okay, is that going to show up? If that does show up, then based on his recent play, he should probably win. I mean, he hits a lot of fairways, great off the tee. The iron play is awesome. But yeah, I mean, like I saw the 22, and based on just how he's been playing this year, the good finish at Augusta, finish at the PGA, like he imploded on the back nine at Colonial. But other than that, though, I was pretty impressed by what I saw. I mean, it is what it is at that point. I bet it, but, a lot of people are on it. It kind of is what it is. The bet is laid. I think he's down to 18-1 now.
No, you can still get him at 20.
Okay. All right. So it's still around where I got him.
But
I think I'm just going to believe in my hometown that what he did here can translate to Murphy.
And like Duffner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that's a great crossover too.
Dude. So I mean that's all you really need. Duffner won at both places. Hovland basically won Oak Hill. So I would say that's like a pretty good comp going there. No, yeah, if I didn't bet Cantley, I would have bet Hovland and Hatton, who you have bet both of them. I think Hatton makes a lot of sense. I think the only concern is that the guy doesn't win on the PGA Tour. He has one win on the PGA Tour, but I think a lot of the case for Cantlay is the same as Hatton, is that he's just been playing unbelievable all season, and he's kind of been playing well in really good spurts. And if Scotty Scheffler isn't, a generational player, he wins the Players Championship, or at least like has a very good chance to battle with Scotty on the back nine. Graded API, shot a 7 over at the PGA round 1 and still finished in the top 15, top 20. Great spot for him. And then a lot of people are talking about this fucking what's the BMW championship at Wentworth?
Oh, Wentworth are making that comp?
Not like just there's a lot of similar crossover in Wentworth.
I thought people were making that comp for Bay Hill. I always heard Wentworth for that, and I was kind of like, maybe.
Well, Billy won at both, and like a lot of like randos have also played well at both spots.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I actually like the Wentworth comp to this place a little more. It's a little more, I feel like this course is a little more built for like a ball striking, like European type, whereas Bay Hill is just kind of, yeah, you got to keep it in the fairway, but like you got to drive it really good there. And like this is a big advantage there, and it's not as quite an advantage here. But yeah, I mean, I guess if people want to use the Wentworth comp for this place, I like it. And like Hatton, you kind of mentioned it too. He kind of all the guys I think I bet this week, this is the box checker guy, where pretty much everything I'm looking for is there for him. Like it kind of seems obvious. Like, off the tee has been really good. He's really improved his accuracy off the tee too, gaining a lot of fairways this year. That's really explained why he's been gaining a lot of strokes off the tee this year, and it's helped with a lot of his good finishes. The iron play has been great, pretty good from long range, good around the green. Putter's been good on bent grass. So yeah, like, I mean, can he win? He never really wins on the PGA Tour. But you could also argue he might be due. He's had a lot of great finishes, been in the mix a lot. Like he played well at Quail Hollow. Obviously, like after a really poor first round at Oak Hill, he could have just completely checked out. He didn't rally for a team finish.
Good in Florida comp.
Yep, good in Florida, 4th at API, 2nd at Sawgrass, 6th at Phoenix. That was also pretty firm golf course that week.
Hatton is like my absolute FOMO of the week. Definitely like I would like to be on him, but I'm not. So he will be the person that I don't want to see win, borrowing my friends' money on them, just for my own sanity.
There you go. Listen, I mean, I've been one to make a lot of FOMO bets in my life. I've discontinued that video because it was just costing me money at this point. So, but yeah, listen, if you want to have a little FOMO and maybe make a little bet without telling people, yeah, by all means.
Yeah, I'll bet a top 5 on him maybe.
There you go.
Yeah. Day, no shot, not winning.
No, people are trying to drive like the hometown narrative with him, and
he's been horrible here.
Yeah, other than 2020, he has been very good. But I mean, he does have a pretty nice house in the area. I was actually talking about this with Matt last night. They did a video.
I think he bet Day.
I think he might have bet Day. I mean, I understand why, if this is going to be kind of an up and down contest, that can work. And I just mentioned the 2020 Memorial, and he finished, I think, top 10 that week. So
okay, I'm fading Day this week. I'm betting a matchup against him.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything on Day matchups or
like I just don't like Day after what happened.
What do you mean what happened?
How he like I had 100 to 1 on him at the PGA, and he like genuinely didn't try and play well there.
Well, because he just won Byron Nelson.
So he was just like, all right, like I'm good. Like I don't need to try and win a major. Like it's fine.
He saw the weather forecast for Saturday and all the palm we've had around here too. He's like, you know what?
I think our friend Nagels is right. Like Jason Day is not a mutter. No, he wins in hot conditions. He's not a cold weather guy.
Probably.
So well, I'm glad we're getting. I think Cantlay also is a warm weather guy. It's going to be warm in Ohio this week. A guy a lot of people are out on. He's drifting. What is JT's course history like here? Has he been good here?
It's solid. So he so I know he lost in the playoff to Morikawa at the workday.
Yeah.
He's got, I think, a couple other top 10 finishes a while ago. So
yeah,
hold on,
8th and a 4th in 2018 and 2017.
Yeah. So 8th in 2018, 4th in 2017. So I mean,
lost 8.4 putting here last year.
Well, that's the thing with him. Like, that's been a lot of really difficult stuff for him. With it, that putter has been kind of touch and go. He's been putting a little better with it lately. I've seen some, positive strokes gained performances out of him lately. That I've noticed when Thomas wins, he tends to start getting a little hot with a putter. So maybe that's tells us. I don't know. Like, this is kind of just a gut call that you got a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of momentum, hasn't won in a while. Maybe you can check that box off for the US Open. And he has had like a lot of pieces of competent play, of like winning play. Like, all right, so like before last week at the PGA, he was hitting the ball really well off the tee, gaining a lot of fairways. The iron play was starting to come back to. Obviously, he's still a really good scrambler. Some kind of rough performances lately, but just overall, though, good scrambler. And then I've seen some positive performance with the putter. I don't know. It kind of seems like...
Is this like a one last ride situation? Like if he's asked this week, you're like, I'm done betting JT for the year, or what?
I mean, it's not like me never betting Xander in a major again or Tony Finau in a major again. No, I mean, like this is just kind of a gut call as far as like, I think it's gonna be really tough, difficult conditions. I've seen him win on a firm golf course. I mean, he won last year at Southern Hills. That was firm. The Players Championship he won. That was a firm golf course too. So I know he can do it in those conditions. And I think if it really is kind of like an up and down contest,
he's pretty good.
I want a guy who's a really good iron player, get up and down. That kind of help explains my next two bets. They're I put them kind of in the same boat as far as like, all right, firm golf course. This is what you do. So I'm just going to go with Justin Thomas. He hasn't won a while. I thought 33 on him was, I mean, look, like he hasn't won in a while. He hasn't really been in the mix all that much, but 33-1 on Justin Thomas. I know you're smirking. There's usually one pick that I'd make on the show.
No beef.
Hate.
No, I have no beef with the pick. It's been like a while. Like everyone just been like waiting for JT to pop, and he hasn't really shown anything. But I wish you the best of luck with JT this week. I'm at a point where like I can't poo-poo anyone's picks. Like I just can't. Is Sanjay done? Like is he just are people done with Sanjay?
This is actually like the Billy Horschel spot from last year where Billy was just, if you remember last year, Billy was in horrible form.
No, he like top 20 at the PGA and then missed cut at Colonial.
Yeah, but like the ball striking numbers didn't look very good.
How did Billy win this tournament last year?
Maybe this is my memory because I bet Billy Colonial and he was horrible. And then I was just so out on the guy for a Memorial and then he had coming back. And like, this is kind of
this
where Sanjay is right now.
I'm not gonna say I invented the take, but like I pointed out that there were a lot of similarities between Wyndham winning and Day winning, and I think Sanjay perfectly fits into that category this week. Someone playing really well, bad performance, and then goes out and wins. I don't believe Sanjay M has the balls to win a big golf tournament, so that's my reservation with it. And if the play is not good right now, then I just have no problem with passing on him. Like I have zero FOMO on Sanjay. I don't think he's gonna win.
Yeah. Did we ever figure out why he went over to Korea?
I don't know. I think he just supported his home country, which I respect. Like no,
I mean, it seems like you could do that in the off season, buddy. Like,
but he got the win. I mean, he won it like 3-1. Like it was an impressive showing.
Yep.
But yeah, he has no, like, other than the Masters, he's not playing majors, in my opinion. Cam Young, first round leader here last year, shot an 84 on Sunday. And that started just absolute horrible play from him. I'm a little torn on if I should bet him first round leader or not. I feel like you bet Cameron Young first round leader every week, but the play hasn't been great. But I I keep thinking like he always, comes out hot when he's not playing well. I might have to do that this week. That might be a play. Decky, very popular. Andy made a great case for him on his pod. You're betting him. The ball striking's back. Just can't buy a putt. I was thinking about it because I could have bet him, but he hasn't putted well here. So that's my biggest concern, is that in his last 2 trips, he's lost 5.6 strokes putting and 9.4 strokes putting here. So I don't know if this is like a get right spot where like, oh, he always putts well here, like he'll be fine. So that's my concern with Decky, is that he can't putt. But I think that's, kind of baked into the price.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I don't think anybody can really predict what anyone's going to do with putting. Like last year Luke List was losing a billion strokes putting, and then all of a sudden just gained at Torrey Pines and he won. So I mean, this is just kind of all right. I'm gonna, the type of guy who usually does well here. You don't necessarily have to have a good putter coming in, and kind of can just catch lightning in a bottle here. And I'm encouraged by the fact that, he gained 10 strokes tee to green, and, he kind of faded from memory on Sunday. He looked like he was going to finish in the top 10 and didn't do that good. Like, I think my one reservation about Hideki is I just don't know if he's healthy or not. Like, it seems like it's been really touch and go with him this year. Like, it seems like he had like a withdraw, like for a neck injury, and then like 2 weeks later, he has like a top 10 at Torrey, or like a 5th place at Sawgrass, then he withdraws again, a couple top 15 finishes. So I think what I like about him, though, it's kind of like my love for JT this week is, if I think this tournament's going to be kind of an up and down contest with really firm conditions, firm greens, I see him do very well in these type of conditions before. I mean, like the first couple of rounds of the Masters where it rained, really firm conditions there. That BMW Championship at Olympia Fields, the one that John Rahm won at after he won the Memorial, that was really firm too. I think Hideki probably should have won that tournament. He kind of blew it there. And just the iron play is great, really good around the green here. So,
if he can putt, just he's in it.
That's the thing. And I think,
or he puts wide out on his driver.
I forgot that he got DQ'd last year for that. So
but I mean, he could have won last year if he didn't get DQ'd. I don't know what he was doing before.
No, he was. This was after neck injury issues came out, and then he started off horribly, and I think he kind of rallied to get back to even, but then he got DQ'd like around like hole 10.
Tough.
Yeah, tough scene.
But I know everyone's been waiting. But the next guy I bet, honestly, I don't. He's not gonna win. Like, I'm almost positive he's not gonna win. But like, I just want to bet him, and like, I gotta ride it out with him. But yeah, I bet Dick Fowler 45-1. This week was on him last week. Bad beat. He didn't win. But reports on the ground from the tracker said he was draining a lot of putts in the practice round. He beat JT in a nice money match. Ricky's been playing unbelievable this year for him. He's not a top 10 player in the world, but he's having a really great season. And everyone's waiting for this win. And it's going to come soon. And it'll probably come at like the 3M or Rocket, which I'll probably also bet him at like 18-1 at. But I like what I saw last week. He's been great around the green all season. The approach play has been really stellar. Then mix in the course history here. I think it's a great play. I don't like, he's more likely to finish in the top 10, top 20, obviously, but I got to see it out with Dick this week.
Okay. I mean, listen, like the case for Ricky, you can make a case for it. I mean, the iron play has been awesome around the green. Like you just mentioned, the putter's been really good on bent grass. He's had some decent success here, a little bit, up and down, but he's got a second place finish in 2010, T2 in 2017. So he does have a high ceiling here. I guess I just look at his resume over the last like 12, 14 tournaments, and I saw that 9 of those last 11 tournaments he's finished inside the top 20, and I can't really recall a single moment there where he's actually in the mix for a win.
Yeah.
So why don't I just bet him plus 150 for a top 20?
Yeah, that is definitely the safer play.
Yeah, that's how I handled Ricky Fowler this week, because I had him at Colonial last week too, and he was never going to win. He made a nice little charge on Sunday, but he was out of it.
Yeah, but like if he just birdied the Halsey bogey, like he was right in it.
That's true. I mean, that's just like if Collin Morikawa had never played the 9th hole last week, he would have.
Yeah, he would have won.
He would have finished second. I think it was 7 over on that hole. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, I just want to be on it if it happens, but he's probably not going to win. But sometimes you got to bet the people that make you that will help you sleep at night. What are your thoughts? I bet Adam Scott. He's very popular. I think for a good reason. I think that you look at what he's doing and how he's playing and the number, and he has some good finishes here. I think it checks out. Gained over 6 strokes ball striking at the PGA, 2 top 10s before that. I'm pretty impressed with the T8 at Byron. A lot of people don't think of Adam Scott as someone that's going to go out and make a zillion birdies, but the putter's been good. Good bent grass putter, 55-1. I got him at 60-1. Like, why the hell not? Like, let's do it, Adam Scott. He's good for one more. He's got one more in him.
Yeah, I was tempted. I decided to keep everything under 50-1. I mean, Adam Scott is a position on my card. I got him top 20 plus 250. You can actually find a top 30 if you really want to be kind of stretch it out a little bit at plus 150. There's one of those out there. Like, just take that, take your singles and doubles when you can get it. But no, I like Adam Scott a lot this week. His iron play was absolutely brutal for the first half of this year, but it's come alive since. I looked at what he did at Quail Hollow.
Great long iron player, by the way.
Well, now he is actually a good long iron player. That has definitely turned around. At Quail Hollow, he was, I think, one of the leaders in proximity. I think from either 175, 200, or 200, 225. I mean, both of those are crucial ranges this week. Like you mentioned, the putter's been coming alive with a cheater putter that my co-host loves to point out.
But we're not going to bring that up.
No, we're not. I mean, considering his favorite golfer also uses a cheater putter too, but details. It's something that kind of escapes him sometimes. But no, I like Adam Scott a lot this week. If his irons are popping, he checks a lot of the boxes here. Good history here too. I just settled for a positional, but yeah, I mean, like we talked about, like a lot of this golf course is similar to a lot of these Florida golf courses. He's won the PGA National. That's a Jack Nicklaus, pretty good down in the state of Florida as well. So I know he can get around a golf course with a lot of landmines and penalty areas, and that's why he's on my card as a positional.
Yeah, I feel good about Scott, other than the fact that he's super popular, which again, we're due for one. Anyone else you want to talk about? I like Keegan. He doesn't really like. I mean, I feel like I have to bet Keegan. Like I always bet Keegan. You like any kind of longer shot, like top 40 DraftKings plays this week?
Yeah, I mean, Russell Henley's a top 20 on my betting card this week. Same as Siwoo Kim. I mean, like
you like Siwoo? I like Siwoo.
Yeah, I mean, like accurate
I'll bet
player.
First round later.
The irons have been pretty good with both. Both of them pretty good around the green. I kind of like that template. Like if you look at the course, like fit model for both those players, it looks very similar to Billy Horschel last year. So I kind of did that in him. One thing that I want to shout out Matt Gannon again. He made a really good point last night that kind of stopped me in my tracks. And maybe he asked us on Twitter. What's the difference between Tom Kim and Collin Morikawa right now? There's not really, because there's not really a whole lot of difference.
Tom Kim is legitimately awful.
Well, they're both doing about the same stuff though right now. So they're both pretty accurate off the tee. Both hitting their irons pretty good, struggling around the greens and they're crappy putting.
Yeah, but Collin has way better finishes this year.
Well, I'm talking about the last. He said the last 5, 6, 7 tournaments. They're very similar.
Yeah,
that was a good point.
I don't know. I'm not. I think Tom Kim maybe peaked a little bit. He hasn't really shown it. Like anytime he's like made sense, like he just hasn't played well. Like even on courses that like he should play well at, like miscut at Sony and RBC. Like, what are we doing, Tom? Like how do you miss the cut at those spots? You shouldn't.
I get it. And I actually think this week might be a bounce back week for Morikawa. It just, when I looked at what they've been doing lately, it's remarkably similar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Morikawa, because I had a bet on him last week, and I mean, I just kind of checked out after that front 9, and it seemed like he just didn't have a whole lot of control off the tee. A lot of just like the fade is a little too fadey. He hits the ball, and every time he hits a bad tee shot, like, he's just like, oh my God. He says that right in the mic, and it's going way off to the right. The club goes down to the side. I've been seeing him doing a lot of that lately. But last week, I mean, if he just didn't play the 9th hole, we would finish second. So is he close?
He basically won.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, he started 5 over, and he was 5 under the rest of the way. So I think this. I mean, I think this is put up or shut up week for Morikawa. I like him for LACC, but
okay.
He's
so
I'm
guessing you watched the. Are you good on Memorial? I'm good on Memorial.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on Memorial. Okay. I mean, like I mean, for positionals like Smalley or Streelman or Ben On for top 40s, you can find plus money. But other than that, though, I mean, I think we kind of covered. As far as outrights go, I think your limit is probably like Keegan, Adam Scott, Henley territory. I don't really see it coming past that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm good on Memorial.
Okay.
Did you watch the every hole at LACC from Golf Digest?
Of course I did. I
got a notification pretty early. Like unzip my pants, like just ready to go on it. I no fucking get like even after watching it, I'm like, what is this course? Like the course is pretty. Like I don't think there's any real like comp to it. Like I think it's an extremely unique course that we don't see a lot of like anywhere. The par threes are insane, like truly insane, like some 280-yard par threes. I don't know if they're going to play it at that distance, but some really long par fours to end. A lot of undulation in the fairways, not a lot of flat lies. Kind of you have to drive it to the right, but the hole's on the left and it's covered by trees and shit. Like, what the fuck is this course, man?
Yeah, I remember when I did my major preview back in December with Andy. My first impression was, how the hell are they going to host a U.S. Open here? It's like there's no room for galleries or stadiums anywhere. It's so compact, all the holes, and there's a lot of holes that like are just right on top of each other. Like I think like 4 tee boxes right on top of the third green, and they got 9 tee boxes like just a little bit up the hill to the left there. I think pace of play might be an issue with this course, but you're right. Like when I first scoped it out on Google Earth, it's like this is a wild piece of property. I think I describe it as if Shinnecock Hills and Augusta got married, but then Shinnecock had a one-night stand with Oakmont. I think that kind of combines it a little bit, just with the firmness of the greens. There's some really gnarly barranca and rough if you miss a fairway, but it's pretty wide. It's pretty generous.
It's pretty wide.
Augusta National is very hilly with the elevation changes. So that's kind of the comp I've been looking for at this place. Maybe a little bit of Chambers Bay with how firm it can be there and how kind of wild the terrain is, how the ball's just kind of, once it hits the ground, it's going to keep rolling.
I think Chambers Bay is like half decent, but like on like, I don't know, like that. There was just so many like the fairway is like up and like the tee box is like down. And it's just like the piece of property is crazy. Like there's not going to be any flat lies.
Yeah. Well, that's going to make it challenging to try to figure out your proximity distances because you have like, let's say like the tee box in the landing area, it might be 30, 40 feet below the player. There's also the fairways are going to be really firm. So they're going to roll out. What I would suggest, I mean, I'm going to do this, so maybe I'll just do the work for everybody. The U.S. Open app has the 2017 Walker Cup matches, and you can actually go back and do a replay, and they actually describe, you can kind of see if you compare to Google Earth of where these guys are hitting from. You can kind of guesstimate about what the proximity.
Did Gil Hanse come in after the Walker Cup?
No, it was before. That was its grand unveiling. Now, I think this U.S. Open is going to be, I think, a little bit longer, so you might want to account for that a little bit. But listen, I mean, you saw a lot of
long. It's a fucking long course.
Yeah, so I just added up from the video. I think it's 74-80, par 71. Those long par threes play downhill though, and it's holes where you can kind of bounce it up to the green too. Yeah. So I know it played. I think number 11 played 280. back at the 2017 Walker Cup. And you can also see guys who play that Walker Cup who are going to do well. Like Morikawa was on that team. Scheffler.
Were they ripping driver on that hole?
Morikawa hit 3-wood, I think, and he bounced it up the green there. I mean,
and also like a lot of the greens, it's not like there's a bunch of different bunkers around the hole. It's just one massive bunker on the entire like right side of the green.
Yep.
So there's really nowhere to miss. But it's not a video or a course you watch and you're like, oh, this will set up well for X. In my opinion, it's a little tough for me to watch that video and say this screams someone.
Yeah. I mean, I think high level, based on kind of how the fairways are contoured and where if you do miss on the wrong side of the fairway, it really makes the approach shot very difficult. And these greens are going to be really firm and difficult to hold to, especially if you're kind of in that Bermuda rough down on the wrong side of the fairway there. You're not going to have a good angle to the green. You're going to be blocked by trees. So I do think there is going to be an importance to accuracy at this place, just making sure you're at least on the correct side of the fairway. I think you have to be pretty strategic tee to green. Otherwise, though, you're not going to have a lot of good looks into these greens. And also, too, one of the things they mentioned on the Walker Cup, and I just watched it too, no one was getting up and down that week. Now, these are also amateurs, and they're a lot better now, but I didn't see anybody coming out of the bunker or from the barranca or from the rough just because of how firm the greens are, like come close to getting it close to the pin.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's similar to the cock.
Yeah, and one of the things that Azinger talked about was the type of sand they have in those bunkers. It's really heavy sand. It's difficult to get any spin on it. So getting up and down from bunkers is going to be really difficult. I saw a lot of guys, mostly on the GBI team, leave a lot of balls in the bunker. But even so, like if you got a clean lie there, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of spin and get it close to the pin. So if you're
do you like anybody?
I mean, honestly, when I first watched the Walker Cup and I saw how he played it, I mean, Morikawa came right to mind at this point. Yeah. Just a guy who is going to hit, the correct side of the fairway and a premium iron player. And it is fast greens. I've noticed he's done better on faster greens. And he did well. The problem is, though, I don't really have a whole lot of faith right now. He has control about where the driver's going. Yeah. So that's given a lot of pause.
And also, like, regardless of, I don't know, I still truly believe you have to be long off the tee to win a U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is. I think with this one, though, it's kind of like the year the Spieth won, Chambers Bay.
I know. Yeah.
With the firmness of the fairways, you can get the roll out there.
Still, it just seems like no matter the course, it's someone that's a lead and long off the tee. Fitz, Gary, Bryson, Brooks, Rahm.
Yeah. No, you definitely make a good point. I think every winner for the last like 6 has been inside the top 15 driving distance.
Yeah. So that's it. I don't know if it's not like there's going to be more information on the course. I mean, there will be. Have we figured out what the green surface is?
It's bent grass. I know
it's
that.
Bent.
I know that 100%.
It's bent.
Unless they change
not POA.
Unless they changed the green complexes since 2017, they said multiple times on the broadcast on the Walker Cup it is bent grass. It is Bermuda.
So Max isn't winning.
Well, Max actually has the course record there. So
I know, but it's not.
That might be pre Gil Hanse renovation.
Yeah, though. Yeah. I don't think Max is gonna win. But yeah, I have no fucking idea who's gonna win the U.S. Open. No fucking clue. Everyone should watch the video. The course is fucking insane. Mm-hmm. And again, even because I remember you saying that, and like it's right on fucking Wilshire Boulevard. It's gonna be a logistical fucking nightmare. And again, it's kind of tough. Like when I saw the videos of Oak Hill, I wasn't like, oh, there's so much room for all these plans, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of room for fans. So I'm excited. It's not that far away. But yeah, I have no fucking idea who's going to win or anything, about it, but we got to get out of here. We have other obligations. Everyone always should check out Steve's work. It is fantastic. Everyone should watch your betting show after this with Matt And anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, this other than, subscribe to the Golf Gaming Podcast, give it a rate and review, subscribe to our YouTube channel too. We give all our information out for free. There's no paywall behind any of it. And I think our stuff can definitely stand up to any of the other sites out there. So come check us out. I'll give my course previews. Matt will give a lot of DFS and picks too. And obviously, once Boston Caber's back, we have our podcast 3 times a week. So Kirshner, though, thank you very much for having me on. It was great to have you in Rochester. Great to go out at a night in the town with you too. Have a couple.
Yeah, I actually was having like dreams. I was in, when you like travel somewhere and then you have dreams about that place. Like I was at Oak Hill and I bet Griot and Hovland and they both withdrew. And then I missed my flight and I was at the airport and they wouldn't give me a new time. It was, yeah. So yeah, I dreamt I was in Rochester last night. Oak Hill looked like it was like Oak Hill like on shrooms. Like it was like all over the place. But I know it was Oak Hill. But we'll see everyone next week for the Canadian Open. We're gonna have Feinberg on. And then Andy's coming on for the US Open. And then then Travelers. So we got some good tournaments coming up, and we will see you next week when Ricky Fowler is the Memorial champion. Okay.